I'm here with John Resig, our resident JavaScript and all things hardcore guru.
Thanks, Al.
And also the architect behind what we're looking at right now. What is this?
Yeah, this is really exciting. This is the new Khan Academy computer science content. We've been working on this now for a little while, and I'm just really excited to get this out now.
And so this is a page. So I see a bunch of links right here. There's an introductory video. So what we're doing right now isn't the introductory video. It's the launch video.
Yes.
There's another introductory video that walks through all of the stuff. But let's talk a little bit about what this computer science is. So fundamentally, you've created kind of a neat environment. So let's go. So here's some of the example programs that people have done already on this platform really that you've made. So here are some of the getting started ones. Let's play with. So this is the most basic one, Winston.
Yeah.
And so
you got some ellipses and ellipses.
And it's an environment where you have right over here, you have your coding pane on the left, and then you have a canvas to draw. So it's immediately visual. So this is something that's pretty basic, even for an early programmer. And what I find very exciting is some of this action that you can change things in real time.
Yeah.
So, and there's tutorials that go into more depth. I can make Winston closer to my complexion. There you go. And we can change things in real time. So even for a beginning programmer, they can start to play around with things. But obviously, this is actually what's been surprising. It's a fairly powerful environment.
Yeah, being able to have that responsiveness, I feel like it allows you to just kind of better understand, how things interact with each other at a pretty fundamental level.
Yeah, and we have things like this, which is a little bit more involved, and we can change in real time some of the core variables right over here. So the initial spiral configuration, well, let's see what happens if we changed it a little bit. Well, you can see how it immediately changes everything. The maximum radius, what is this? I don't even know what that does. It does something.
It seems to get larger. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it's the radius of the circle, number of points in the spiral itself. We can reduce
so you're getting less and less. It's getting
we get thinner, thicker. Yeah, so this is fascinating.
Yeah.
There's all of these. Let me leave this page. And so there's a ton of examples of what people have already done all the way to this, I guess, this expert level. You have, this is Ben Kamens wrote this Boyd. It's literally a bird flocking simulator.
Yeah.
But you can actually, maybe this is less realistic, hit the birds with rocks.
Yes.
With a rock. But this was all done. I mean, what's neat is this was done all in this environment. It's all JavaScript right over here. And anyone can go and look at these and change them.
Yeah.
And then you can save it as you can save as, and it'll save it actually in your profile.
Yeah. The big thing we want to do is we want everyone to be able to see the code and the thing that's running simultaneously.
Yeah.
And you should always feel willing and excited to change what's there and make it your own. So we want to really heavily encourage exploration and experimentation. And I think this platform is going to do that.
Yeah, this is neat. And then you can collect the stuff. So if you go to profile, it shows up there, and then you can share it with other people too. So these are the things that I've been working on. I still have a little work left to do, but I had some simple. I want to do an Ulam Spiral. I can actually show the current version of it. I've made a little video on it too. But yeah, so you just plot the prime numbers, things like that. And let's see, how do we get here? So so you go to watch computer science, and then you click there, and it takes you to that main computer science page. And what if? So we just looked at a bunch of examples, and obviously people can look at the code for those examples. They can tweak it. They can save their own versions and maybe create derivative versions of them. What if someone's a complete beginner? What should they do?
So I mean, probably the best way to go about it is to look at some things that you think are kind of interesting. Like looking at some of the introductory explorations. Some of these programs here where it's just basic drawing, for example. If you've never programmed before, this is a great way to get started. Start to look at what is being done there and see if you can't, see if you can kind of intuit like how those, function calls work. But even so, we have a whole bunch of tutorials. So like if you go up to the drawing tutorials there, like we have a number of tutorials. We have a few tutorials on drawing, along with some of these programs that you can learn drawing from. And then if you go up to if you want to learn some of the basics of programming as well, you can You can view the programming basics, and we go even into more depth about like some of these topics that you might want to understand better.
And they also have like an audio component.
Yes.
Our now soon to be famous intern Jessica recorded many of these.
Yes.
But if you press play here, you'll actually have her talking through what she's doing here, and she'll change the code in the canvas as she speaks, and then you can interact with that code, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Almost magical in my opinion. And one thing that I found really valuable, even for myself, is to it's sometimes fun to tweak other people's code, but once you feel comfortable, to actually just look at what they did and try to build it yourself from scratch.
Sure.
Because that's really how you really learn to program, is get inspired, see what's possible, and then try to build it yourself. And if you get really stuck, then you see how other people have implemented things. And so this is really exciting. Did we miss anything?
No. I mean, this is the big thing. I think the big thing we want to encourage here is, we want you to make your own things. Not only building off of what we have, but create something original. You can take components from what we've written or just write stuff that's completely new. Mercury Subspace there is a pretty awesome one. That one, I think people will get a big kick out of that one.
And so this whole game was written right here.
Yeah. Yep. And that was done by David, one of our interns.
Oh, yes, this is a real game.
Yeah.
This is David kind of overdoes things sometimes. This is pretty good. This is yeah. And this was all written there, and someone can change. How do I pause it?
I'll just click over outside of it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so like for example, there you got your max health. So why don't you try changing max health, and look at the hearts in the display up there.
So if I change my max health to 10.
There
and all of a sudden we have more hearts here. So this is fun. Even a very beginner could start changing a fairly sophisticated program. You could change the images and things like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So why don't you go down? Scroll down a little bit. So you got your guy there in a little beetle there.
Yeah.
There you go. So there's one that's the second one down, beetle ship. So and why don't you click and scroll down there a little bit and
say Spunky Sam?
Yeah, go ahead. So why don't you click
Sam.
that? And so you can see
there.
there. Look at
so now the ship is Spunky Sam.
Yeah, now you're
shooting. Very cool. Very cool.
So I mean, I think this is sort of one of the things we really wanted to do is we really wanted to make it powerful. And it's simple enough that anyone can really get in and start to play around. So I think one of the big things here is that we want you to make your own things, and then down below you see that there is this discussion area where you can ask questions and comment on things, and this is a big thing. Like I think you're going to find this to be a really valuable way to get feedback and to be able to talk with other people and get a better understanding about how things work.
And actually become a better, one thing I found is just writing a couple of these tutorials, getting feedback from you and other people has, I think, made me better, because there's little silly things that I kept doing, and now all of a sudden other people can look at it, find other interesting ways of doing it, or even asking, and you could ask the author questions about how would they have done something. So it really creates a community of learners here.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
I already have 2 or 3 projects that I'm not getting much other things done right now. This is kind of addicting.
Great. I love it too. I've been having a blast playing around with it.